bathroom, we have an item that came from the Joseph NALLE home, which was on a hilltop east of this place. Captain NALLE had a lumber mill, a lumber yard here, down on East 6th. There is a building that has his name up on top of it. And he had this fabulous lumber yard, so that he was able to import into Austin almost anything he wanted in the line of building products. Well, when this house was built in 1877, and when the NALLE house was built sometime later, Austin as a community had only 10 bathtubs. Some people just had 10 wash basins and no bathtubs, but certainly no porcelain bathtubs. Well, Captain NALLE went to New York City on a visit, and there he found for the first time this porcelain bathtub. Of course, there were lots of them there, but he had not seen one before. So he bought this tub, had it shipped by boat to Galveston, and from Galveston brought to Austin on the train. And this tub was enjoyed in his palatial home for many years. Now, that house, which is shown in this picture, was indeed elegant. It was large and beautiful, imposing. It had imported woods, imported chandeliers, imported silver, imported mirrors, and this imported bathtub from New York City. Well, in the 1930s, when the Great Depression hit, the NALLE property had to be changed and that house demolished. One of the sons, Mr. Edgar, was put there in charge of selling everything from the place. This tub was out in the weeds gathering rainwater. Nobody wanted this bunglesome old bathtub, nobody except my mother. And she took a fancy to it and wanted it. But Mr. Edgar, by that time, was so tired of trying to get rid of it that he just said, "Please take it, just take it. I want to get rid of it." And my mother said, "Oh, I can't do that. I have to pay you something." Well, they haggled around about how much, and finally, just to settle the thing, I think, Mr. NALLE said to my mother, "Give me $1 for every man it takes to lift it." The thing weighs a ton, and only 10 men could get around it. They strained. It was all they could do to lift it. But Mother said, "Oh, $10 is just too little for it." So she gave him 20 for this tub. And the men strained and brought it on in here, where it has been ever since. It's really a wonderful tub because it's quite deep, as you see. So with hot water or with cold water, it is special. This marble washstand also came from the NALLE home, the same one whose picture I showed you a moment ago. And the one is one upstairs as well. Now this iron filigree work that you see was not from the NALLE home. This was from the Richardson home, which was built right parallel to this house. My grandfather had sold the land for that Richardson house way back there. And the house was large, imposing, elegant, beautiful, but it too had to be torn down. And when it was, the ridge pole, which was made of this iron filigree work, was just ripped off and thrown down into a pile. My father, who had watched both the NALLE house and the Richardson house being built, felt a personal loss in seeing both of those places demolished. So he asked the workmen what they were going to do with all this iron filigree work. It's molded iron, actually. And they said, "Oh, they were going to junk it, just pile it up and have it hauled off." And so my father said, "Well, would you mind letting me haul it off for you? And I'll pay you for it." And they said, "Oh, just take it. We would have to pay somebody to haul it off. And if you'll take it free, we'll be glad." So Daddy stacked it all up, and then he had Mr. Weigel, the iron man, you remember, make this stand using this iron filigree work which came from the Richardson's house, right on top of the ridge pole. So we have here in this one small bathroom special souvenirs of two other old families and old houses. Those two no longer here.